disc golf enthusiasts. Thanks for joining us for the final round of the FPO for the Ledgestone Insurance Open. I'm Sarah Hokom here with Madison Walker.
Hello.
And we're going to be ready to...
And Ruby.
And this is Ms. Ruby Dew joining us in the studio. We're excited to give you some shot-by-shot coverage of the action. Here we are on hole 1. This is 636. Jess has the box first.
Starting out with a par 4, there's some OB trouble on the left, not at the sidewalk actually, it's in the woods. Pretty much you just want to throw a big bomb out into the middle of the fairway and set yourself up for your second shot.
Jess throws a nice turnover and puts herself out into the field. Here I am throwing a hyzer backhand.
Wow.
It ends up where I want. I went out of bounds last round, so I was happy that landed.
I like that you committed to it for a second time.
And Paige also throwing the hyzer. She lets it go a little early, and it skips, rolls, but she ends up inbounds on the left side.
Definitely pushing the out of bounds line.
And Rebecca also throws the hyzer, but also lets it a little early, and she does skip out of bounds.
Surprising to see people pushing that left side as much as they were. There's so much room to work with on the right.
Yeah, which is why I feel confident throwing the hyzer.
Yeah. So the next shot, you have to the basket's downhill. You can't quite see it with this camera angle, and it's about what you'd say 200 feet.
Yep, 250 down the hill with water on the left. There are some logs to stop the rollaways, but it's still certainly an out of bounds risk.
Yes. In years past, it was pretty thick behind the basket. You didn't have to worry. It was almost like a backboard. This year, it's definitely the water can come into play big time.
So you've got the OB option off the left side on the tee, and then you've got a lot of OB and a downslope here on your approach shot. So this, even though this it can be straightforward, you can take a pretty big number here, as we saw a few players do.
The threes are gettable, but it's also super easy to take a 5 or a 6.
This is an extreme downhill. She's looking at about 55 feet. She lays it up very nicely. I'm also looking for just a layup here. I'm not pushing this putt at all.
Nice flat landing, and so it won't roll.
And Jess, she had a great approach. She threw the hyzer around the outside, but she got to skip off these roots and left her off into the shoal. A really tough approach, which she throws a little sidearm and almost puts it in.
Yeah, kind of running at it.
And Paige converts a birdie here, one of only 3 on the day.
What a great putt.
This is a really good hole. A couple of people scored 3s, but then, even all the way down to 6s and 8s on some really quality players. So, it's a score separator right off the bat. Paige taking advantage of getting that birdie. Now she's got a lead over me here.
Starting out the round strong with the battle.
So Jessica's still got the lead. And Paige is now 1 stroke closer. Hole 2, it's a 313-foot. You've got the hyzer outside of these trees, which Paige throws. Unfortunately, throws a little bit deep and wide, ends out of bounds.
Wow, you have to really mash it to go out of bounds deep.
And Paige has the distance.
She does.
Jess also choosing the hyzer.
That surprises me. There's a really nice forehand route. You do have to kind of push the OB that way, but it's definitely gettable. You get to watch you do it?
Yeah, and I don't push the OB as much as I should, but
I did the same thing.
I give myself just outside the circle putt, which is my favorite.
Yeah.
Except for parked ones.
Yay, jumper.
And Rebecca throwing the hyzer. Throws it a little wide.
A little wide, little straight.
Gets a skip, but just gets to the top of the hill and it rolls down a little ways, so she'll have a longer approach.
Is that Rebecca?
Yeah, Rebecca with a 60-footer or so. Puts it relatively close, 10-footer or so. Paige trying to save her par.
Oh, no.
Bounces off the tree. But she's still only got like a 15, 18-footer. And here I am about 35. Looking to make a move.
With the jump. Ooh, she wanted it.
Chained out a little left. Jess inside the circle. Lining up that Annie. And it's in!
Dead center.
Looking strong here right off the box.
Starting out on the right foot. Paige looking to save her bogey.
And easy putt for her. She's been putting great inside the circle. And then Rebecca and I will have some 10, 12-foot tap-ins here. Thankfully, the conditions out here are really calm. We don't have a lot of wind, so these short putts are still relatively easy.
But the ground was so dewy. It was just so dewy. Just kidding.
I was high stepping out there.
There was nothing to complain about. Yeah, there was nothing to complain about. It was a perfect day.
All right, so we see Jess saying, no, you don't get to get closer to me, Paige, and getting a birdie. Here, hole 3, 384, downhill, a tight gap on the left to try to get under those trees and all the way to the green, plus a lot of bunker danger on the green.
It's downhill and low ceiling. And if you do make it past there, you're contending with a couple of bunkers that are surrounding the basket. There is also some OB on the right-hand side that looks like, is that close to it?
That's close to the OB, but it is inbounds. Both Jess and I rolled down there after our hyzer sidearms. Rebecca with a nice turnover is a little bit low and catches that hill.
Still a great shot. She'll definitely have a look. I can't say an easy look for an approach because the approach on this hole is so difficult.
Yes, that's the meat of this hole is definitely on that green. And Rebecca, let's see, Paige also throwing a little bit low, leaving herself a long approach, which she puts in the bunker, unfortunately.
Ugh.
And it doesn't touch the other side, so she is going to have to take that on the far side of the bunker.
Yeah, this basket placement is very mean. It's in between two bunkers, and on the right-hand side, there's also an out-of-bounds sidewalk with a slope down towards the sidewalk.
And Rebecca also likes to play in the sand right now.
Everyone's going to the beach.
And I'm doing whatever I can to avoid the sand.
Make it look easy. Why don't you?
Leave myself a little short, but I'd rather be short than long. Jess will have a little putter approach as well from a similar position. And she decides to put a little closer than me, but we're both safe with tap-ins.
That's Jess, always one-upping today.
We'll see if Paige can convert this after hitting that bunker. Uphill, probably 28 feet.
Oh, no. That's not the way you want to start out the round, but this hole really can do it.
And Rebecca with a similar, and it rolls and stays inbounds.
My gosh.
Here, just a little putt for the par. Happy to have it. If I ever have a look at birdie on this hole, I will be extremely excited.
I had one.
Oh, look at you, fancy pants.
Don't worry, I missed my putt.
Aw. And Jess playing smart, getting her par, keeping her nice lead.
Threes feel really good on this hole. So.
Yeah, with that danger on the approach, I'm always happy to tap out a 3. So we have Paige and Rebecca taking 5s because of just simply an approach shot.
This is definitely the hardest hole in the course. So a 5's not terrible, or it's not terrible compared to the rest of the field, but it doesn't feel good.
No, definitely not.
So it looks like our hole 1 through 3 had some technical difficulties, and we're going to just start on hole 4. This is a par 3. It's straight downhill. You can't quite tell how far downhill it is, but it's a pretty steep downhill shot, and there's some water in the foreground that you can see Jessica kind of comes into play with.
Jess throws a good shot here, but hits the high trees and bounces into the water.
You can also see there's a bunker to the right, and there's a green that you can't quite see on the screen maybe, but both of those come into play as well, and definitely are places you want to avoid.
Rebecca throws the flat shot down the hill, leaves it a little hyzer, hits the early trees, and she'll be taking her live from the other side of the water.
I don't know if y'all noticed that Sarah Hokom threw a backhand hyzer. That was beautiful.
Paige putting up a hyzer as well, coming in nicely, almost hits the chains, just deep. She had to have been inches from putting that in.
I loved her little wave.
A little tap in.
Is that flag for the pink one?
That looks like a place you don't get discs back from.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of these little bit algae infested.
The happy. Jess with a really good from just outside circle 1.
Here for my birdie putt. Slightly uphill.
And it makes it look easy.
Doesn't. Always happy to get a 2 when I'm throwing a backhand off the tee. And in fact, I figure if I can make a backhand, if I can throw the backhand off the tee, it's probably too easy. It's
easy,
the
though.
Sarah test.
It's not easy though. She says that, but maybe she's getting better at backhands. Rebecca, I don't want to say taps it in, but she makes her bogey. And Paige looking at a birdie. No brainer. Speaking of frogs.
Yeah, the frogs out here are about the size of your hand. They're pretty massive.
And there's a lot of them too. So in the first 3 holes we missed, looks like Rebecca had a little bit of trouble. Paige had a little trouble as well, but is trying to bounce back.
Here, hole 5, this is 246, over the water with water in front of you and on the left. Really plays well for the sidearm.
There's also a sidewalk on the right side that comes into play, but there's 2 big bushes that Paige is going to be near that kind of help a little bit.
Jess opting for the sidearm with a stable mid.
She'll be right around circle's edge. These 2 holes are some of the shortest holes on the course, but they do also put the water into play, both of them. So they're a little nerve-wracking. We didn't have any wind to deal with, so they definitely played friendly today.
This one actually playing as the easiest hole on the course. Half a stroke under par on average. With over half the field getting this birdie. So this is maybe a little easy, but Paige really close on her. So her putt that she missed rolled away. And thankfully she is in bounds, or she's touching just a little bit of mud here. So she can convert this putt for her 3. Ooh, just over the top. Her footing's a little weird there on that slope.
Rebecca with the birdie. Paige looking to save a bogey.
Nice and easy. She's been putting very well inside the circle, so that was pretty much a gimme for her.
Yeah. I talked to her at lunch today after the round, and she said her front 9 was definitely a roller coaster, and we can see that she's already gone birdie, bogey, bogey, birdie, bogey. So hopefully she can figure out how to iron it out a little bit. We still have Jessica in the lead by 3.
Hole 6 is a par 5, 7-12. Most players are throwing a high, give themselves a good position to lay up their second shot and then go over the water on the 3rd.
The sidewalk on the right side is out of bounds, and there's a flag down there. You can see on the right that it kind of cuts off. So anything past that is fair except for the water. Jessica rips one past the hill, which is where you want to be. The ground's a little bit flatter. It lets your approach be a little bit more secure instead of throwing on a slopey side hill.
Rebecca with the hyzer as well, but it gives her a roll. And man, it has got a lot of speed going towards that sidewalk.
Oh my God.
And it just keeps going backwards,
No
backwards, backwards. And thankfully it stops right about there. We were holding our breath. Paige also getting on top of that hill. And, you know, we're all going to lay up when nobody punched it out there far enough to try to go over the water for an eagle.
Yeah, it's a pretty common landing zone on top of that hill. You really do have to throw about 350 to get a flat landing zone if you want to try to approach the basket from there for the eagle. But like Sarah said, most women are going to just pitch up to the edge of the water and then throw the 200 feet over the water clearance.
Yeah, Paige throwing a putter up there. Perfect landing zone. Jess also will sidearm approach. Nice and safe.
It was a blessing and a curse. This hole, I remember in years past, it was so windy and it was really hard to throw this next shot over the water. and kind of wondering what was going to happen. But today we did not have a single bit of wind.
That was amazing.
It was stagnant out there and it was hot. Rebecca throws hers over the water, makes it look super easy. Looks like she's inside the circle.
I'm flexing an enemy over the water here, cutting it a little close.
Oh my God.
But, I just want to make sure I don't have to putt.
That's what you want to do right there. The basket's only about, 15 feet past that wall?
Yes. So, you can either play it long and give yourself a putt back at it, or take an extra risk and play it to the pin, where if you miss, you might be on the other side of the water, throwing another 200-foot approach.
Yeah, there was a lot of questions about if people hit that wall and bounce back into the water, are they safe? Are they out of bounds? But it would definitely be out of bounds. It never actually crossed in play, so you would have to take it all the way back on the other side.
Rebecca canning it from circle's edge for her birdie. We all got birdie looks on this one, which was pretty impressive. In fact, over half the field birdied this hole.
Wow.
So, it shows, women really playing this hole smart.
This is not an easy hole, and that is impressive that many women got birdies on it.
And basically, you're getting up and down from about 220 from the other side of the water. And, it seems like, over half the field successfully did that. So that's,
It's with two trees kind of guarding any hyzer option as well. So it's you have to kind of throw a straight shot unless you're Hokom and you're magic and you can flex a forehand any line you want. Was that all birdies?
All birdies.
Wow.
Yeah, and I've gotten 3 in a row here, and Jess also got 2. So we're battling here.
Hey guys, welcome back. We are on hole 7 now. It's 288 feet, but it is uphill. There's a bunch of guardian branches and trees to contend with, but for Hokom, 288 uphill forehand, it's pretty much a gimme.
You do have this OB bunker on the left side if you go just barely past the line on the basket. So there is a little bit of danger.
Oh, I didn't even know that was there.
Yeah, I found that last year, unfortunately.
Oh, wow.
Jessica throws a great flip up hyzer with her sidearm.
Rebecca takes the backhand route, which is sort of a hyzer, but it's low, so you have to kind of keep it hyzering and flat the whole way. Definitely more of a penetrating shot.
And Paige came out a little early, a little hyzy. She is challenging that OB bunker up on the left and is just short of it. Thank you, rake. She was asking if she could move that rake, and we just weren't sure at that point, so she decided to putt from behind it.
Oh, gives it a good run. I don't understand how I got through 2 rounds here and did not notice that bunker. It's pretty far uphill, and it is sort of nestled behind the hill. Whoa, what a bounce.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. There's some roots over there. I'm about 20 feet here.
Nice 2.
Jess with the same opportunity now to get her 3rd birdie. We'll see if she can put this in.
Surprisingly, this played as the 4th most difficult hole in the course. There's so many trees to contend with, and it's definitely is hard to get yourself a look at a putt. Just getting the disc there is difficult.
Seems like a sidearm hole to me.
Definitely.
That backhand, you have to flex it around those trees.
Oh, Jess does not convert her putt, which is surprising.
Yeah, she's been putting very well. And it was just a slightly uphill lie. So these ladies will be tapping out here.
Actually, you and Hannah Macbeth were the only 2 birdies on that hole for the day. Congrats, Hannah.
Yeah, man, for as open as this shot seems, it is surprising more people didn't get it. But this is one of the first times I've gotten this hole in all of the years I've played this course. So
it's like a sneaky hard.
So now I got 4 in a row, trying to catch Jess here. I'm only 2 back.
Definitely in the hunt, making this battle exciting on the last day.
Hole 8, 444, downhill. Most players are not getting much of a look at this for 2, but it does have some OB on the left, OB deep, and there's a lot of trees that are overhanging. So you end up trying to throw a lower shot down the hill, and it gets a little tricky. Jess gets a kick left here into the fairway.
She's contending with those big trees on the right. You see Rebecca working more of the middle route. It's a little bit of a scary route because if you hyzer out, there's a bunch of OB on the left. There's a sidewalk that turns into a little gully. It definitely comes into play. I had 2 girls on my card go out of bounds. So you just have to make sure you have your disc turned over, or like Jess did, push it over into the trees on the right. keep it low. Paige is in a very typical landing zone for most of the FPO. She throws a great approach shot, and she's well inside circle one, looking like she's going to tap in her 3.
This is kind of a tweener for the ladies.
Definitely.
With nobody got this 2.
Yeah,
And
no.
there's really only 3s and 4s on the hole. So, I mean, the approach can be a little tricky. And if you go out of bounds off the tee, it can cause the bogey stroke. But I think they could look at this hole as a change for next year.
Yeah, during round 2, there was only 1 birdie on it as well. So it's a really tough hole to get to distance-wise and as far as the basket being guarded. Paige saves her par.
And pretty much short tap-ins for everybody here.
Yeah, not a whole lot of action on this hole, although we did have some Canada geese out there.
Yes.
Very exciting.
First round, I was throwing directly at a whole group of them.
Heads up.
Yeah, I was sure I was going to hurt one.
All right, rounding out the back 9. This is a 300, just over 300 feet, kind of slightly uphill. There's a bunch of weeping willows guarding the basket, and they definitely will knock your disc straight down. And also, if you land near them, they will not let you have a putt.
I turned this over a little bit, and it's a low ceiling with a slope left to right. So it's a little tricky to get the sidearm in there, but I definitely think the sidearm's the play.
It's also the tee pad is slightly uphill as well, and you're going right at that log. So it's tough to just get your footing and feel comfortable on that tee pad.
And Jess kind of missed the angle there. She let it hyzer out. So she'll have a long look. Rebecca throwing a nice shot, but gets caught up in those bushes on the right.
Probably a little lower than she would like. That tree on the left takes the Anheuser route out of play entirely.
Paige was challenging that roof on that on her flex shot.
It was close.
But she actually has a really nice look at birdie.
Just throwing from the farm equipment. I took a picture of one of the girls on my card.
Sidearm hits the band. I've got about a 45-foot jump putt here. Off the top.
Looking for 5 in a row.
Trying. And then a little sidearm approach. She's really blocked by that bush. That's a nice approach for her.
Great run.
Especially for someone who doesn't throw sidearms, really.
Yeah, barely.
Paige from the edge of the circle. Yeah, I don't see her do it very often. Paige from the edge of the circle. She's got to go over this bush. And she makes it.
Wow. There she is on the roller coaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rebecca, watching her play Idlewild a couple of the rounds, it's crazy to see someone not use a sidearm at all on such tight wooded fairways where you're doing a lot of step out shots. So
Absolutely.
she's definitely backhand dominant, or mostly.
Paige was the only one on our card to get this one, but there's a lot of other birdies on a lot of other cards. So this is a great hole. It challenges a lot of different shots.
I birdied this one today.
Ooh, fancy.
Very fancy. And we are finishing out the back 9.
Paige with a little push there to get that birdie, trying to get back up there. And then me and Jess, Jess is still leading well. She's playing great. I'm trying to sneak up on her.
And here we are on hole 10, starting the front 9 with a tight battle. We've got Hokom chasing Jessica Weese, only 2 strokes behind. This hole is about
It's 383 down the hill with a pond on the right. Paige throws a really nice shot, puts herself really close to the pin.
She really challenges that tree on the right. That's scary, but that's really the only way you can get to the basket with a backhand is to challenge that tree. That steeply sloping hill from right to left, you can't really quite tell on the camera angle, but it is very steep and very far downhill. It kind of takes away a lot of the backhand workmanship that you can do. Forehand's definitely the play here as far as risk goes.
Yeah, the backhands are risking that cut roll on that side hill as they're getting closer to the basket.
Really. Rebecca with a bomb.
Yeah, she puts
shot.
herself like just at the edge of the circle inside of it. Just with a long look, really beautiful. Almost puts it in.
We were guessing today that if there were birdies on this hole, that it would be you or Jess, just because y'all have those bomber forehands.
Yeah, we both turned it over just a little bit. It's kind of tough to judge that distance.
And
or
there was
that-
kind
that
of a
angle.
sneaky like crosswind, even though there wasn't really wind anywhere. You can see the flag in the background.
Typically this hole has a pretty fierce headwind.
Yeah.
So we were really fortunate with the beautiful conditions today. So I'm about 45 here. I got a little bit of a low ceiling right in front of me.
Oh, I think you and I had literally the exact same putt.
And Rebecca from the edge of the circle.
Wants it, goes for it. There is a pond back there, but there's a good
And
landing zone.
Paige sneaks it in the left side, gets a second birdie in a row, making a push here in the middle of the round.
When it counts.
Yeah, she's been playing great all week, so it's great to see her putting the pressure on here.
It's nice to see Paige doing well. She's had some really strong finishes lately at Idlewild and in Michigan.
This is a pretty good hole. Only a couple other players got the 2, but the 2 is accessible to most players out here. Rebecca cleaning up her par. Jess and I will tap these in. And we'll head on to the next hole. We take a little walk through the neighborhood up through these holes.
Little scenic route.
Paige will have the box here on this on the 11th hole. This one's tricky.
Very tricky.
939. There's a couple different routes. Paige throws the flat shot on the inside route, playing that left side slope.
There's some
And-
water on the right. You can't quite see another little boggy marsh. And then there's a wall to the right that kind of comes into play as well. Hokom takes all of that out of play by putting it way on the left and letting it work the full forehand line. Wow, that was a great shot.
Yeah, and there's a little green also on the left side that if you flex it too far, you're going to be OB there. There's just a lot of trouble. Jess throws the hyzer, so the outside lane. She's got a ton of power. She gets it all the way to the pin. It rolls down right past the basket, and unfortunately
Backwards.
misses all those logs
Out of
down on the water
bounds?
and goes OB.
Oh my gosh. I haven't seen anyone throw that hyzer line. It's a really impressive route and definitely does take a lot of power.
Rebecca playing a safe hyzer. She's going to play for the par here.
Unfortunately on the green? Or is it short enough?
She's short enough. She's safe. Now this is a tricky up shot though. You got to go. Usually you have to go up and over these bushes, but still try to land and not roll away. She left herself at the edge of the circle.
You can kind of get the feeling for it here on how difficult it is. You really do have to either commit to pitching underneath or doing a really soft pitch over the top.
Just to try to save her par. It's pretty far uphill. Unfortunately, she misses that.
That's a bummer.
Here's Rebecca trying to save her par. Really tough putt down this hill.
Gives it a solid run. Just outside the circle. Hokom looking at her too. And she says, "Remember me?" And that brings the lead to only 1 stroke of difference. No?
Well, actually, that ties it up.
Oh, right.
Because Jess got the 4.
Yep.
Yeah, I was really
Rebecca
fortunate to get this hole. I don't think I've ever thrown it that close to the pin before.
It is such a hard hole to get to with forehand or backhand.
I used to play it safe and just throw the upshot and try to get the 3, but I found the upshot so difficult that I figure I might as well take the risk off the tee.
I think that's a good move because if you throw it in the water or on the green, worst comes to worst, you have a putt.
Yeah, and you still have a putt as long as you're long OB. So yeah, it worked out this time. So tied it up, and then Paige Bjerkaas is still right there after 2 in a row. This hole, we got an island green, 275 feet. I choose the layup over the left side. You could go left side. You can most players are going to throw up the right side with a flat shot or a hyzer.
Yeah, where that spotter is, it's another probably Paige is going for it. It's probably another 150 feet past the spotter with all out of bounds.
Paige puts a little more hyzer on that than she wants, but she is safe on the edge of the circle. She'll have a putt.
She said, "Oh my God." This is such a tough tee shot. The tee pad's kind of facing the wrong direction unless you are throwing the right at the bushes, which we don't want.
Jess throws the wide hyzer. It almost puts it in.
Wow. She makes that look easy.
She sure does.
Not easy.
And we'll see Rebecca throwing a mid and laying up perfectly.
Mm-hmm. Exactly what you want.
So Rebecca's going to continue on her safe route and put it right under the pin. Very smart play.
It's nice to watch people do that, but man, I wish I could. I just can't lay up. It's too fun to try to go for these island holes.
You only think you can. You can't. If you think you can, you can't.
I know I can.
Paige from the edge of the circle to get her 2
Ooh, she wanted it.
over the basket. She's definitely trying to make a push here.
She was on the birdie train and she was feeling it.
But converts her other inside the circle putt.
No problem.
As usual, easy peasy.
This hole actually played as the second most difficult hole in the course, with almost 50% of the field shooting over or bogey or worse.
Yeah, it's a tough decision. It's only 275. It is uphill. There is a tight gap. But if you don't land it basically in the circle, you're out of bounds and there's almost no chance for the 3. So, I think it's it's a decision maker.
Jess takes one of only 3 birdies in the field. Very impressive. Awesome we got to watch.
Yeah, it was a great shot. So she gave 2 back on the previous, but then she takes one right here to grab the lead once again.
With a very impressive birdie. Wow, we have a nice little battle going on in the back 9.
And Paige is still within striking distance. And we're back on hole 13, 329. Pretty wide open off the tee, but once you get to the green, there's a lot of bushy trees with low branches. And Jess decides, I'm just going to park this one.
Wow, that was a great shot. You definitely have to kind of work a flex here, get around those branches on the right. You can't really just throw a straight hyzer the whole way. There's definitely a lot of play on the green as well. The grass has kind of died down in the shade, and so you get definitely some skips if you throw too much spin.
And you got left side OB, so if you let that hyzer out, it's definitely OB, which is, I found that, last time.
Oh.
Paige skips, but she does end up in bounds slightly outside the circle. Rebecca ripping her distance shot, nice and low, perfectly placed. She'll be just inside the circle.
Pretty much all the putts on this green have branches hanging in them, so you can see Paige just lays up, doesn't even try to go for it. She probably didn't have a whole lot of options. Hokom for the 2, just outside the circle. Woo!
It was just inside the circle, actually, because I would have jumped it, if it was outside.
Nice birdie, though.
But those are
Jeez.
tough putts, so I was happy to make that.
That is awesome. Maybe you got one back. We'll see what happens when Jess. Oh, you said she parked it, didn't you?
Yeah, she did.
Spoiler alert. Rebecca running at it.
She's not happy with that attempt, but she's got a little bit of a putt back at it. She always gives her leg a little slap when she's out of rhythm
Frustrated.
or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pars are not bad out here, though.
Paige ended up having to lay up, putt up, and Jess is about to hit her head on the basket.
Oh, my Lord.
Great shot by Jess there. So let's see, we got a couple
holds on to the
deuces
lead.
there.
Yeah.
She holds on to the lead, but I'm still on her tail there, trying to make a move.
You're like, hey, me too.
Hey. Look at me. All right, this one's a par 4 around the corner to the left. Jess playing the hyzer safe shot out to the right, so she'll have a nice easy approach.
Yeah, she'll pretty much
to get her birdie.
She'll have a look at the basket from there. You want to kind of play your disc to land out wide, a little bit wider to the right. There is OB that goes along that fence line. If you put it too far right, Hokom's going to be fine. But the wider right that you can put it, the more open your approach to the basket is. It's such
Paige
a hard
is going
line.
for the green here. She flexes it, and she just clips the inside corner and ends up OB in that middle bush area.
And there is no drop zone. There is no option from there. Basically, you just have to throw a weird little sawed-off shot around the corner.
Rebecca grabs a little bit of shrubbery there off the tee, but still ends up flexing out of it, and she's in a good position.
She seems happy with it.
Yeah, so she's going to be throwing around this kind of corner, trying to get herself close.
Trying to work the skip.
It was a little hot coming in.
Yeah,
so she'll be at the edge of the circle.
Didn't have quite enough angle on it. Paige is trying to get around. She's throwing a totally blind shot from there. You can't quite tell. It's really, really tough over there. I know from experience.
And I'm
Hokom with the backhand approach.
Yeah, it was a little short, but I didn't want to play with that left side with something super stable, so I threw a putter there. And Jess with a nice, easy approach, put herself about 12 feet.
It's really awesome to have a jump putt on that hole. That is a great
So Rebecca
shot.
from just outside the circle trying to get her birdie.
Oh,
just left.
that little wooden stake on the side is out of bounds over there. So that was a little bit of a depth
Here
cut for
I am.
Rebecca.
28 feet, just a little short. Cameraman worked me there. He was all still, and then at the last second, he started shifting his weight back and forth right into my backswing, and I caught it. I caught the movement. Paige with a nice conversion there
Huge
to get
putt.
her par after going OB.
I
So
feel like
that's
every putt looks big with Paige because she takes 400 steps to the basket. It's like, oh, was that
all
a
relative.
40 footer? Oh no, she just took 10
no, that was
steps.
a 25 footer. Rebecca for her par. And Jess with a little, like a 12 footer here to get her birdie.
Taking a minute, getting her focus on.
And easy peasy.
Yeah, no problem.
So now she goes 2 in a row. Man, she is pushing here. She is not wanting me on her tail.
Yeah.
And
She's like, no. Wait a minute.
get out of here,
Get
Hokom.
out of here.
What are you doing?
Don't hold your breath. Yeah, 2 in a row, man. This is when you want to buckle down, and Jess is doing
3 in a
just that.
row. Excuse
Wow.
me.
Yeah,
3 in a row.
she's doing just that.
So she got a 2-stroke lead. We're going into a birdie hole, 229. There's a lot of people throwing like a flippy mid here, and that's Jess's shot. She puts it really close.
That's a great shot.
I choose the sidearm here. I threw the backhand the first
It's
round.
a little
but
scary sidearm and backhand. There's a lot to contend with.
I'm throwing a little flex with a Firebird.
Wow, that is such a great
And-
touch shot.
It almost went in.
Oh my God. That was such a great shot. That's such a hard shot. You have to really kind of cut it off past that bush.
Yeah, you have to challenge that bush for sure.
I cannot believe you just hit it on that line. That's crazy.
Paige throwing a beautiful shot, just long.
That's a pretty common problem on this hole. A lot of people overthrowing it.
And a little bit of shrubbery there for Rebecca to leave her outside the circle. Yeah, this is, I mean, I hate to say anything's like must get, but this is definitely one of those that you feel like you lost a stroke to the field if you miss it.
Yeah, you really do. And it's such a weird distance. You kind of want to power something through. Nice birdie from Paige. You kind of want to power something through because it's a tight gap, but you really do have to throw a nice little touch shot to not go too far past or hit any of the branches.
Yeah, and just under half the field got the birdie here, but only one bogey in the entire field. So this is definitely a scoring hole. And Jess looking for her fourth
Yeah.
in a row.
4th birdie.
She is not backing down.
She's bringing the heat. It's really impressive to see players. Nice birdie, nice almost ace.
Right, that would have been nice.
It's nice to see players when they're in the heat of the moment really turn it on and keep their focus.
So we've got Jess is now in the lead by 2. Okay, here we go. Back to 16. This was a tough hole. This is 352 feet,
So
but
it's reachable.
it's reachable, but you got to go flex underneath these branches, and you got a left to right slope coming on the right side.
Yeah, and that branch is a true guardian. So is that tree. If you go too far right, where Hokom's kind of playing right now, it is a big drop off. How to work over there?
Well, we're gonna see. It wasn't pretty.
I think a backhand Anheuser flex shot is the way to go as far as safety. It's definitely harder to get there, but you don't have to contend with going off the hill.
And Paige gets herself inside the circle here. Rebecca wants to flex that a little bit more, and it kind of hyzers out for her. So she'll have a
She'll
fairly
still have a look.
easy up and down. So,
Hokom
yeah,
chilling in a bush.
yeah,
Wait,
you know.
you go way down there. Wow. What are you, circle 2?
Yeah, probably circle 2. Yeah, and I don't have much of a look there.
Yeah. Rebecca has a standstill approach.
Yeah, this is a really tough hole to get to, and honestly, not very many people in the entire field got to this one. We see Paige lining it up, and she puts it in for the birdie, one of only 2 birdies in the entire field today, with Ms. Jessica parking it for the other birdie.
Wow, that is such a great birdie. Holy
Both of them just pumped it out there.
wow.
So what is that, Jess, for five in a
birdies.
row?
Yep, 5 in a row.
She is on fire right now, playing flawless. And me and Becca just tapping in our pars.
Moving on to one of the most difficult holes on the course. Jess maintains the three.
She now has 3 with 5 in a row.
Wow. Look at all that blue.
That's cool to see.
That is very impressive on this course.
So this one, you want to stay as far left as you can to give yourself an approach down the hill. And Jess kind of lays it out there a little bit too far right, but she'll still be able to get up and down to get a birdie.
There's a Mando, so that's why you want to play it out to the left, because if you're too far right, you can't just cut through the bushes. You have to go out, kind of out and around where you can see that drop zone sign.
Paige with a huge pump puts her in great position for the birdie.
That was a pump.
And
Oh
whoops.
no.
Yep.
No, there's
Early out of bounds.
There's
there.
out of bounds over there. All the tall grass.
That was a shankopotamus by me.
Shankopotamus. Dang, Rebecca with a pump.
Yeah,
Right in
she's
the
got
middle.
great distance. Perfectly placed in the middle. I'm throwing pretty far from the pin at this point, trying to just get into the mouth of the gap.
That is a great shot. Mix it around the Mando. There's some bushes down there, and the green is pretty sharply downhill, so it makes for a little bit of a scary approach and putt.
Rebecca trying to turn this over just a little more, but she kind of gets caught up in the left side bushes. She'll have a downhill approach for her birdie. Jess with a pretty easy sidearm around this Mando tree. Wow, but she lets it go a little early and misses the Mando. Actually goes through that V in the Mando tree.
Oh no.
So she'll be taking her next shot from the drop zone. Paige, little sidearm, gets it down in the gap. Pretty good shot.
You don't see Paige throwing many sidearms either.
Just trying to figure out what to do here. The drop zone is tucked pretty far to the right, and it kind of blocks you from having a great look at the hole. And we're trying to determine here whether she can have 1 foot outside of the box that they've painted for the drop zone. She ends up just,
They painted a little tee box.
instead of just a line or flags like normal, there's a box there. So that's kind of what was confusing. So we're kind of trying to decide what's appropriate. I'm trying to tell her here that as long as she lifts her back foot, she can have it out. She decides just to put both of her feet in the box and do it. Nice little sidearm. It does roll a little ways, so she'll have a putt back at the basket. The downhill slope here is pretty gnarly.
Yeah, it's
Just a little tick off the pole.
no, it's a lot steeper than it looks on the camera angle, and there's a long way that it can go.
Nice. Perfect shot.
You want to try to land flat if you can, even sometimes if you land flat, it rolls.
This is for Paige's birdie. She's played this fairly clean, and she'll be able to tap out the par.
Rebecca looking at a par as well.
Yes, after that roll away, she
Nice
makes that
putt.
great conversion.
Super huge comeback.
And this will be Jess
Looking to save a bogey.
saving the bogey after missing the Mando.
Was that Mando here last year?
I don't think it was.
I don't think it was either.
I
thought it
think
was a
some
new
people went
addition.
around the right side last year.
Yep,
Or if
I
you're
did.
too far right off the tee, you could kind of take that gap on the right.
Great putt from Jess to save the bogue. Yeah, it was kind of a funny addition, but I guess it does make sense for players walking to the next hole.
And it seems like what the intention of the hole is as well.
Yeah.
So I can see why they did that. Only 4 people in the whole field end up getting that birdie.
That's a great birdie. That 3 feels good on that.
Nobody on our card. Both Jess and I had those penalty strokes, but Jess still has a nice lead going into the final hole with 3-stroke lead. Paige off the tee, flips it over a little bit too far and pumps it all the way out past the circle. I think she almost hits the camera guy here.
Oh my gosh. There's out of bounds. If you throw it onto basically if you follow Rebecca's disc, if it kept going straight, there's a sidewalk over there. But
Rebecca was trying to put a little more angle on that, but she'll have been easy up and down.
it doesn't quite come into play unless you really turn it over.
Jess with her sidearm flip up lands in a good position.
Circle 2-ish.
But then, of course, these hills
Oh man.
rolling outside circle 2.
That's a mash for a sidearm. I'm surprised she threw that 383. It is a
Her
little
sidearm,
downhill.
she's got that.
Yeah.
You know, she really does. She throws that thing like 375. I'm also going to choose a sidearm here. Oh, it's weird, but it's odd.
I know, what's very surprising from Sarah Hokom.
Weird. I'm just trying to throw it in here, hoping that something cool will happen.
That was a great shot. Inside the circle.
Yeah, a little uphill putt around this tree.
There's some really good guardian
Jess with
trees
a
out here.
layup. She does not need to do anything special, and she puts it 3 feet from the pin.
Seal the deal.
Pretty much sealing the deal there. Rebecca with a little approach. Right by the pin. And Paige making a run at it.
She wanted it.
She did, and
Oh, no.
unfortunately, that side hill, that backside is,
That's such a brutal finish.
yeah, so she's going to have a long third shot here. Leaving herself another
That's
putt
her,
here.
yeah.
She just wants to play some more golf, I think. There she
She's
goes.
like, I'm not ready to be done.
Yeah, she doesn't want to tap out. She wants to putt it out. I get it, Paige.
It's nice to hear the applause.
Yeah, we had a really nice gallery out there.
Yeah, y'all did. It was awesome. You could hear.
Both the first and the second cards had nice galleries.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate all the spectators coming out and taking the time to make the ladies part of their day, as well as all of y'all out there watching right now.
Yeah, we're very excited for this opportunity to have this ladies live coverage before the men's open card. Oh, nice knee putt.
Ah, thank you. I don't think I usually get that birdie, so I was happy to finish with the bird. And Jess, nice little easy putt here to seal her first Pro Tour victory this year.
Yep. And that's a good one to get to. Ledgestone is a big one.
Yeah, a lot of varied holes.
Oh, they already did the trophy. I didn't realize
And there
that.
she is. So congratulations, Jess. You played solid the whole time.
And we get to watch a little post-round interview with Terry. Y'all stay tuned.
And thank you for Discraft for sponsoring the event, for Tony Scardina for helping make the broadcast happen, and Amy Hawking of Pekin City Church.
Yeah, this broadcast studio is super awesome. We appreciate you guys' help in making this happen.
I'm the disc golf guy, and I've caught up with our champion, Jessica Weese. Jessica, you started out the day with a slim lead, and Sarah Hokom wasn't going to make things easy on you. Tell us a little bit about the battle.
Yeah, from hole one, it was a real battle. Sarah really brought the heat, and I had a game plan today just to come in and play consistent. I didn't want to go for any crazy shots or anything, just try and maintain my lead. I came up to hole 11 and I threw a sidearm and it picked up and it rolled in the water, even though I had parked the hole, so that got me a little flustered. But I told myself to just shake it off and move on to the next hole, that there was lots of holes left. So I think that was the game changer.
It really seemed like it was. Sarah ultimately birdies the hole. You guys are then all knotted up, and then on the very next hole, you put yourself on the green, you take the birdie, she lays up, and you never really looked back from that point forward.
Yeah, the next hole it was the island hole, and I was debating whether I was going to lay it up or not. I thought she went for it from the tee pad and made it into the circle, so I decided that I better put it in the circle and give myself the opportunity. We came up to the hole. She didn't even make it into the circle. She was laying up. So then I had the opportunity to gain a stroke back, and basically I took it and never looked back.
Yeah, plenty of birdies. And speaking of the heat, Sarah bringing the heat, plenty of heat out here this weekend.
Yeah.
Anything you had to do to deal with heat or humidity or all the sunshine, the beautiful sunshine we had?
Yeah, out here at Sunset there's a lot of sun, not a lot of shade. So I was playing a lot of shade golf, honestly. I had to have my birdie bag, and if I didn't have that, I don't know what I would have done because my hands were sweating so bad.
Well, it's fierce competition. Anything you'd like to say to everyone as you take down this Disc Golf Pro Tour victory this weekend?
Well, I'd like to thank everybody who was coming out to watch, everybody who helped with the event, put it together, and run the event. I got to thank all of the camera crews because there was so many this weekend. That's really awesome for the disc golf community. And I guess I'll give a shout out to my mom back home. I haven't seen you in a while, so it's been a while. Thanks, guys.
All right. Well, she says hello to Sherry, along with her sponsors, Innova, and all the other
Innova,
sponsors that
Adidas,
she has.
Grip, Hunter Hot Stamp, and I think that's it.
All right. Well, this is Jessica Weese. We're here at the Ledgestone Insurance Open. She takes home the massive trophy after a long weekend of hard work. Congratulations, Jessica, and we'll see you at the next event.
Appreciate it, Terry.
Hey, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in and watching the Ladies Lead card coverage on the last round of the Ledgestone Open. We already did all of our thank yous, but we just wanted to say a couple more things.
Thank you, Legacy Disc, for supporting me and everybody out there for supporting the women's coverage. It's great to see so many viewers and spectators at all the courses.
Also, I want to say thank you to Innova Champion Discs. The number one way to support me on the road is to purchase one of these Thunder Peckers. They're on the Innova Pro Shop website, and you can find it on my Instagram as well. Also, I want to do a quick birthday shout out to my friend Duncan. Happy birthday. And besides that, Ruby needs a nap, and we've got some open min coverage to watch. It's exciting out there today.
Yeah, we'll see if AJ Risley can get his first Pro Tour victory out there.
Yeah,
so,
he's got a 3-stroke lead right now over Nate Sexton, Chris Dickerson, and Reed Frascura. So it's going to be an exciting battle. Anything can happen at Eureka. So,
stay tuned for the men's coverage next.
and we'll see you guys at the next Pro Tour.